Hey everybody, welcome to 8-Bit Invaders. This is the newest installment in the 8-Bit series. Now, for those of you who are unaware, 8-Bit is essentially a series of games made by Petroglyph, and it's all about a series of different RTS concepts sort of mashed together into three separate games. So, for example, 8-Bit Armies is all about CNC and modern military RTS games, just in one package over there. And then 8-Bit Hordes is all about fantasy armies and Warcraft-inspired armies. And then afterwards, we then have 8-Bit Invaders over here, which is obviously inspired from Starcraft and sci-fi tropes, all that good stuff. It's a pretty cool series, I gotta say, especially for the aesthetic and the fact that it's like a Super Smash Bros. Where you have different RTS games from the multiverse sort of duking it out. As if you own 8-Bit Invaders, you can verse off against someone with 8-Bit Armies only, or 8-Bit Armies can fight off against 8-Bit Hordes, and so on and so forth. And if you own all the games, you can play as all the factions. Something to keep in mind about: if you do finish the co-op campaign of 8-Bit Invaders by January 3rd, 12 p.m. PST, you'll get a free code for 8-Bit Horde, so that is something pretty cool. Anyway, so usually these games come equipped with 2 factions each, so there's a total of 6 factions if you get like all 3 of the games. Right now we're just going to be playing around with the alien faction, or the Cranioids, and then we're going to be versing off against the Marines. Actually, I don't really like this map now that I think about it. Let's get Galactic Grotto. Okay. Set to hard, and yeah, I think everything else is a-okay. Let's start. I gotta say, we've come a long way. I did not expect, I kind of guessed that they would go into the sci-fi route, but I didn't really think that they would do it. I guess now my idea for Pirates vs. Ninjas may actually be a thing. That would be really wonderful. Anyway, so how do the 8-Bit, well, how do the aliens work, actually? Well, aliens and Marines play sort of similarly to each other, but they have some slight differences that make them sort of unique. In fact, more so than I think 8-Bit Armies factions and the 8-Bit Hordes factions. For example, aliens don't have to worry about power. Marines do. Aliens just have to worry about population. And on top of that, Marines have a shield for all of their units, as well as for all of their buildings. Aliens do not have that. So aliens are all about mass spam. Marines are all about just building. Well, Marines are also mass spam, but in a different sort of way. Like their units are just stronger by comparison than the alien counterparts. So aliens have to find correct counters and different methods to kind of like counteract the Marines' high health and high shield defense and all that good stuff. Something that is similar between the two factions is the fact that instead of ferrying units between resource node to HQ, they just have to plop down a harvester onto the resource node and just sucks out like resources passively over time. Pretty cool. You can increase the rate at which the collection is made by building a resource enhancer, which we will do right here. But the core gameplay is pretty much the same. You know, you build structures, you get more territory to build, and then you creep over to the enemy base, you A move with a massive horde, and that's it. Speaking about the aliens really quick, these are our basic infantry units. Pretty good. They got some armor penetrating energy bolts, all that good stuff. And then over here we got the Xeno Dogs. These are very fast melee units, obviously inspired by the Xenomorph, and the infantry units over here are inspired by 1950s aliens and all that stuff. There's a ton of different influences. That's why I said fantasy, I guess, influences and sci-fi influences and modern military influences instead of just CNC, Warcraft, and Starcraft, because there's so much more, like Xenomorphs over here. You also got Stink Bug, Blast Bugs, obviously from Starship Troopers, Flying Saucers, Tripods, H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds. In fact, even the Floating Brain to a lesser extent. Aggressor, I have no idea. He kind of looks like the Green Goblin. Anyway, let's go ahead and get out a armory. And we're going to get a few more harvesters really fast. Interesting thing to note is the fact that instead of having massive endgame super weapons that can destroy huge armies, these guys, they kind of forego that. The Marines and the aliens instead have super units that can just destroy massive armies and break down bases. And they're for free. Like the Destroyer, he's amazing. He has 3 abilities, all that stuff, and he's really tough. You don't want to mess with him. And he's completely for free, which is awesome. I gotta say, because the harvesters can just travel to the resource node and they don't have to build you don't have to build your way to the resource nodes. It makes it very easy for you to just kind of stay in your base and build up and not have to worry too much about creeping. I still end up creeping because, you know, it's just out of habit, I guess. Alright, I got some stink bugs here. These guys release some toxins, which are pretty deadly, but also if you're around these guys, and they'll just release toxins passively, so you definitely don't want to be around them. They're not good for business. So yeah, again, we're all about mass spam because the Marines have shields and their units are generally tougher than ours. I don't know if they do more damage, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ourselves a research lab really fast, right here. We don't have to worry too much about rally points because we have an ability which allows us to drop in units from anywhere on the map, and they'll just spawn over to the drop point area or casting as soon as possible. I'll demonstrate that later on what I mean. Okay, let's get a bunch of Xeno dogs. We'll just continue to pump out guys. Tons and tons of dudes. So yeah, pirates versus ninjas. I'm copywriting that. I want like 20% of the ownership of that idea. Pirates versus ninjas. Honestly, I'm really shocked that we're at this point. I'm kind of expecting I don't know, some ahistorical factions from Red Alert 2 to pop out. Maybe something a little bit more memeier. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, so right now our expanding is going pretty well. We now have the ability to do the drop point. So good stuff.
Motivator complete.
I think I'm going to go ahead and build more armories. Because I just want to churn out tripods like there's no tomorrow. I gotta say, one of the best things about this game is the art design, especially for all the factions. And this alien race looks amazing. With the brains in the jar and the different alien species and the you know, the sci-fi tropes that you come to know and love from like 1950s aliens and stuff. That shit's cool. I mean, I love War of the Worlds, and this shit just like giggles my senses. Oh my god, they can make a Halloween faction with vampires and werewolves. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that'd be a little bit too ridiculous, but you know what? It's a battle over the multiverse, man. Okay, let's go ahead and get that. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of fucking units. Kind of pissed off the bush over here. Yeah, so there's just a lot of toxins, and as you can see, their shields are making things a little bit tricky, but these melee guys are gonna definitely die. But they're really tough. Look at them. Even a few Marines. Okay, we're gonna use the drop point so that as soon as units spawn, they will pop out right over there. See, right now, they're just popping out. That is unfortunate. Alright, we need to move back. That did not work out as intended. Okay. We can go ahead and definitely, let's go ahead and get another habitat.
Constructing.
I love how the Marines are they're inspired by, like, you know, typical power armor trope Marines, but also on top of that, they got, what was it, the guns from, I think, Aliens and Alien, if you can tell, if you just zoom in really far in. Alright, that thing's a little bit annoying, so we're gonna have to take it out really fast. Please don't die. Thank you. Damn, I need more production.
Constructing.
Time to get our free super unit. You know what this also reminds me of? Destroy all humans. Yeah, that's what the aliens really remind me of. I'm just getting orgasmic flashbacks of my childhood just seeping through. Anyway, let's get floating brains. What do? Well, they can stealth all units around them. So yeah, pretty memey stuff. And here we go, the blast bug. Arty unit. Alright, let's go ahead and move this guy a little bit more. My units are going to be detected, but that's okay. And now the destroyer is being built. Okay, so while we do that, we'll probably go ahead and get ourselves a launch bay.
Constructing.
Now, there's been a recurring problem in the 8-bit series that I think I've talked about at length in the 8-bit armies and 8-bit hordes videos. That would certainly be the A-movie nature of the game and the fact that certain units could just be spammed overwhelmingly to the point where strategy isn't really required at all. I'm not really sure if the same thing applies to the invasions factions. I mean, the core gameplay is still the same. I'm just not ready to make that sort of assessment until like I've seen a couple more games with them. Especially since you have like one faction which is clearly more powerful than the other one. So you have to like think a little bit differently. Because beforehand it pretty much was like, oh hey, they are the same. Or it only requires like an archer unit to spam out and that's it and blah 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 blah. But again, I won't know until later on. Anyway, Mothership has a nice little attack and on top of this can heal units around it. Guess where those units are inspired from? Yeah, Starcraft. Alright, so let's get some aggressors and then we can mix that in with a few more air units actually. While we do that, let's go ahead and get a second launch bay. You know, even though I joke about pirates and ninjas, I actually really want to see a little bit more development put onto the already existing faction lineup, or not the faction lineup, the unit lineup for the already existing factions, because I think it's somewhat lacking a little bit. But so far, since Petroglyph has been improving their games quite a bit, and has been offering discounts and stuff if you own previous installments of the 8-bit series, I think that they're really committed to like trying to make this game work, and I don't know, we'll have to see if that really pans out well. But I don't really like A-move the game in my RTS series. I think most of the advanced strategy of 8-bit armies, hordes, and invasions has to do with the different faction types and all that stuff. Like 8-bit hordes will play radically different to that of 8-bit armies, which will play different to that of 8-bit invasions. So the real strategy comes from balancing out all these different faction differences. I mean, look at that. I got Godzilla. How do you deal with that? Now, this is a light, fast scout aircraft, and this is a heavy pulse rocket craft. And then Mothership's just Shrek. Okay, we're going to do drop off. Xeno dogs away.
Constructing.
Music also, as always, is very well done. I don't think anybody's going to argue with you on that. I mean, the dude that made the Red Alert music is here. Oh, damn, they're using their Shrek. You know what? Hold on. 1v1 me, brah. He's gonna eat the units. Isn't that a cool ability? Yes, he can just like one-hit infantry and heal up that way. So yeah, it's 8-bit. The 8-bit invasions factions are all about focusing on their army. So that's pretty cool. If they were to diversify the existing factions a little bit, I think like I don't know, I think 8-bit hordes factions could be focused on abilities and spells, and 8-bit armies could be focused on super weapons, but I don't know. Only time will tell. Could be also wrong in my assessment of those two games, so you never know. I don't really know if the resource enhancers stack. Like, I haven't had a need to, like, get a second one, but maybe they stack. You can't get more than one aggressor, by the way. That is unfortunate.
Eliminated. Mission complete.
Alright. So that would be the alien faction for today's video. And I think, yeah, I'm going to upload a Marine video soon enough. So if you want more 8-bit Invasions gameplay, subscribe. And if you like the video, like it. Bye-bye.